As we begin our practice, first just find a comfortable seat, and so here we are on this day in this moment, which is different than, all the other days that have come before and all the other days that are coming after. Breath by breath, we're changing. So as you come into a comfortable seat, turn inward and notice the breath. See if you can sense into the impermanence of the breath. The breath is such a guiding light in so many ways, but it teaches us that everything is in flow, that all of the universe is just this prana in motion. So as you breathe in, as you breathe out, see if you can pay attention to being within the flow and coming in to accept that sense of impermanence and change. There's a wise expression, I don't have the words exactly, but that, we can hang on to the banks of a flowing river, thinking that that's our safe place to hold and let the water kind of rush over us while we're grasping. But really, the safe place is to let go and to just allow yourself to be in the flow of the river. So maybe visualize that. Maybe visualize the sense of releasing your hands, releasing your grip, releasing the mind grip, breathing. And just visualize yourself letting go in that water and just letting the water hold you. Let yourself move with it. The river is so brave. It has no idea where it's going, probably. Maybe it does. Who knows what each of those water molecules know. But when we release into the unknown. And the impermanence of that can be really beautiful if we allow it. So breathe into the changing shape. And then in the same sensing of your breath, can you shift your visualization to be from flowing in the river to realizing that we are the flow? Okay, so we're all connected. As you breathe, you're breathing in someone else's exhale. And as you breathe out, you're offering that gift to the world. Think about the ways that you feel interconnected with the people that you love, the animals that you love, your favorite nature spots that you love. And then the other thing that's coming into your mind, and before we finish this visualization, let's come into the feeling of the heart space. Keep breathing. And see if you can get that feeling both of the flow, of letting go, of letting the impermanence of the breath kind of ride through your heart. And when you feel that and touch that sense of flow, can you let that be the interconnection that you feel around you? Let's bring our hands together at our heart. And through the practice today, see if you can just continue experiencing your breath. The breath is just such a guide for this state of impermanence, of letting us be in the flow state of arising moment to moment. Offer an intention here. What do you want to put into that stream? All right, release your hands and let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out and lengthen on the floor, let's take a moment to experience the lengthening of your body. Stretch. You can reach the right side a little longer and the left side a little longer. And opening and awakening into the feeling state of your body. And draw your knees into your chest and open up your back a little bit. A little rocking. Let your nervous system receive the rocking. And then hang on to the knees and let's circle, kind of rolling one direction a few times. And another direction a few times. And then the third direction, where we're opening up our knees away from the middle and bring them back in. Okay. All right, right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground. Let's move around in your ankles and wiggle through your toes and feel the bottom of your feet. Compress your knee in strongly, give it a good squeeze, and then let's take a twist. Cross that knee over to the left, open up across your chest. Maybe move your arm a little bit if you'd like, if that helps you get into the variety of spaces in your pec muscles. And then reach your limbs wide out. Roll around in your wrists and your fingers, wiggle your toes and your ankles. And then draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head, a nice snug squeeze. And then changing sides, left knee into your chest, right leg long on the ground. Feel free to keep moving your feet about. Give a nice good squeeze of that left knee into your chest. And then we'll cross that left knee over to the right and feel a sense of opening across the left side of your chest. Breathing deeply here. And then stretch your limbs really wide, open things up. Big breath in. As you exhale, draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head, a little ball. And again, opening big and wide. Starfish out your body. Exhale, drawing your knees in. Release your feet onto the ground. Let's cross your right thigh over your left thigh and draw your knees into your chest. Release your head. Let there be a sense of heaviness through your skull. Draw those knees toward your chest. A little movement if it feels nice, a little stillness if you prefer. Lift the legs straight up in the air. Hands down at your sides. Let's point and flex your feet. Maybe a little circling. Maybe you'd rather have your arms overhead. Knit your ribs down. Feel that sense of stability through the core of your body. And then we'll put our feet down and cross the left thigh over the right thigh. Draw those knees in. Enjoy opening your hips a bit. Release any tension through your skull. And then reach out wide again, stretching your limbs all the way out. Draw the knees into the chest. And let's roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As you find all fours, let's see what it feels like to just take a little time to feel your yielding. So grounding through maybe the right hand and the right knee, and then pushing off and feel that transfer of weight over to the other side. And just enjoy getting closer to the ground, feeling that interconnection with the earth. We can bounce off the earth all the time without even noticing the gravitational pull and that deep connection we have. So let's feel it for a moment. And then start to find steadiness through your hands and your knees, and we'll start to move through some cat cows as you're ready. So as you arch the spine, maybe the breath comes in. As you round the spine, maybe the breath comes out. Perhaps you like a different breath. Just see what your body wants. Open things up and breathe. And then feel free to move around in your spine any way you want. You can do some swishing and circling and swaying. Imagine that if cat-cow and this were the only postures you could do today, would it be enough? Would you get some sense of freedom, some sense of grounding? All right, and then drop back towards child's pose and walk the hands far out in front of you, reaching your hands, reaching your sit bones, finding that length in your sides. Take a deep breath. Yeah, let's walk our hands to one side or the other. So we're opening up that side of the body, feeling a good breath in, a good breath out. And then walk over to the other side, feeling some space and length, feeling your breath. All right, come back to center. Let's find a twist, reaching one arm up in the air. Exhale, slide that arm under and twist to the side. Drop your shoulders away from the ears, breathing deeply. All right, and then inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's move to the other side. Arm raised, drop it under, twisting to the breath. All right, lift that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. Curl your toes under. Let's lift to a dog pose and enjoy the feeling of stretching open through your whole body. As we find our way in this posture, we get to have a lot of space and length. Take some time to pedal your feet if you'd like, kind of opening up through the body. Breathing well. Yield your hands down, root down, rise through the body. Breathing full. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, a forward fold. Relax your neck. Soften through your skull. Relax your eyes and your jaw. All right, find your way to a halfway lift, opening up through the spine. Let's pause here. Put your hands on blocks so you have some height underneath you. And let's pedal your feet while you're here, dropping one hip back, bending the opposite knees, kind of coming into that nice awakening in the outer hips. All right, and then engage your quads, lift your femur bones, straighten your legs, lengthen through your spine, and then melt to fold. You can bend your knees as much as you want or need to, relax your head. Push through your feet, rising up. Bring the arms to the sky, feeling that extension. Open up here, lean back, see if that feels nice. Let's cactus, open the heart space. And then exhale and use your breath for your postures. Inhale, rising up, cactus arms. Exhale, rounding in, chin to chest. One more time. Finding your breath. Pause with your hands at your heart and feel your way into the soles of your feet again. So many of these poses, if you've been doing yoga as long as I know some of you have, you've done this thousands of times. So what's this moment? Okay, so if you're not the same as you were yesterday or tomorrow, what is this moment? Let's come up onto our toes, pause there for a moment, kind of just getting a sense of some balance, reaching your arms to the sky, and then slowly place your heels down. Interlace your hands behind your back or grab a strap if you can't reach your hands very well. We'll open up our chest and then lean forward, reaching our arms away from our spine. Relax the neck. See if you can get that feeling of opening up through your shoulders. And then release your hands down. Come to a halfway lift again, opening up through the heart. Melt to fold. Step your left foot back, come to a lunge, finding your knee on the ground. So we'll start with our knee, pat underneath it if you need to. Just feel your way into that hip flexor stretch here, opening some things up, rising up with that left arm, reaching it to the sky. Can you feel the root to rise? Can you feel the yield and the push and the reach? Can you feel that sense of moving from your center out to your limbs and back in again? Can you feel your breath moving you? Let's bring that forearm over, or your elbow over, or your hand over, and twist. Opening up through that hip flexor of the back leg, finding breath. Okay, come back to center. Ground your foot again. Lift your back knee up off the earth. And we'll find our way hands on blocks. And let's move with breath. Bending and straightening the front knee so we feel our way into our movement with our breath. All right, ground yourself, root down. Now we'll come up to a crescent lunge, reaching the arms to the sky. You can have your hands closer or farther, or even hands down, whatever feels comfortable in your body. Rise up through your spine, root through your legs, root to rise. We're going to bend the back knee a little bit here. So you feel that stability in your pelvis. Press down through your front foot. And then release your hands. Back foot comes forward. Forward fold. Relax your neck. A halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Melting, folding again. Step back with your other foot. Now our left is in front. Place your knee down on the ground. You can either curl your toes under or lay them flat, whichever feels good in your body. And enjoy that hip flexor stretching open here, finding your breath. All right, and then when you feel ready, we'll come on up, bringing that right arm up in the air. You can try arcing over or reaching back or just staying stable, whatever feels good. Root to rise. So the rooting down and the reaching up. Can you feel that yield that gives way to the push, that gives way to the reach? The reach gives way to the yield again. Yielding doesn't happen without breathing. Okay. Let's cross that arm over to the leg, twisting here. Finding that depth of your hip flexor, opening up, breathe into the front of that right hip. And then come back around, come to neutral. Let's lift your back knee up off the ground. Okay, come onto those toe beds and let's find our way to a lunge. And then we'll bend and we'll straighten, enjoying opening up the hamstrings, opening up the hip flexors, opening up the movement with the breath. Ground yourself, feel your roots. When you feel ready, you can bring your arms up and find that sense of spaciousness. So we're yielding and pushing to help us reach through our body and let the reach give way to the yield. Feel free to bend your back knee a little bit if you need to keep you stable and anchored in your pelvis. All right, and then we'll release the hands down and come back to a dog pose. Extending through your spine here, opening up, drop your heels, lift your sit bones, open your feet, open your hands. We'll come forward into a plank. Push down, shoulder blades away from the ears. Ground yourself. All right, put your knees down if you need. Find the ground. Roll the shoulders a few times here. Inhale for a cobra pose, open chest. Exhale, melting back down. One more time. Feel that extension in the body. And let's come back up onto all fours. Move about in your spine, wagging your tail. And let's pick up your feet and let them sway a little bit too if you'd like. And then find your way back to a child's pose. Enjoy what you feel here. Just see if you can sense the ease that comes with this posture. Notice your breath, the rising, the falling. All right, grab your blocks, put them in front of you, stack them short edge against each other so you have a platform for your elbows, palms together, hips high. Let's drop our chest down toward the ground, thumbs toward our spine, elbows on the blocks. So we're stretching open our triceps. Feel your shoulders open up here a little bit. Instead of sinking your armpits toward the ground, see if you can have a little lift under there and stretch toward your pelvis. Breathing deeply. Release the hands. Release the blocks. Bring your hands onto the ground, puppy pose. So walk your knees back. We're still opening up the thoracic spine, but now our arms are straight. Feel that breath. And we're going to slide forward onto our belly. Take your arms down at your sides. Take your legs wide on the mat. Toes, big toes touching the edges of your mat if that's comfortable. Let's turn our legs out for this first one. And we're going to lift our legs up so there's a little external rotation. Slide your hands on the mat. Draw your shoulder blades down. Lift your chest. Exhale and release. Put your knees back to neutral. Windshield wiper your knees. And then repeating a second time, this time tops of the feet are down on the ground instead of turned out. Keep our hands in that same position. We're going to slide our hands down the mat, engage the back body, lift arms, legs, everything. This time we'll lift our hands off the ground. Neck is long, Lift your legs, feel the strength of the back of your body. Exhale and release. Come up onto all fours and move your spine around. Release that posture out of your back. Find the breath. Let go of the banks of the river, so there's nothing to hold on to now in the body. We're letting each pose go. We do the pose and then we let the pose go. Come back to child's pose. Open up through your spine and breathe. All right, we'll lift again to a dog pose, finding that space. Pay attention to your hands and your feet where you're touching the ground. Root to rise. And then we'll walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Relax your neck, let it bobble about. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Push through your feet, rising up. Trace right down through the center. Pause here for a moment. All right, turn sideways on your mat, wide legs. Let's come down to a deep squat, elbows on top of or inside of knees, opening up those inner thigh muscles. Ground your legs. Lengthen through your heart. Try not to collapse here. Okay, we'll push through your feet, rising on up, standing star. Turn your feet to the right for our standing poses. We'll come into Virabhadrasana. Ground yourself, turn and gaze out over your fingers. Press your front heel down into the ground so you're engaging your hamstrings well. Push your heel into the ground to light up that leg. And we'll find a reaching through your body, stretching into a reverse warrior. Finding breath, back to a warrior. Big breath in. Turn it into a Parsvokhanasana and open up through that side of your body. Grounding through your legs, opening up your body, breathing. This pose is not the same as it was yesterday. What's here? Right, let's rise up. Turn your feet the other way to the left, finding our way into Virabhadrasana here. Shoulders down away from the ears, gaze out over your fingers. See if you can feel the strength of your whole leg. So we're pushing your heel down to give some energy into those hamstrings. Press into your feet, open up your chest. Spin that jar lid of your foot. You can take your left toes and drag them left. Left heel, drag right. Let's reach up to a reverse warrior. Lengthen through your sides, extend through your arm. And back to your warrior pose for a moment. Have a breath. And find your way into Parsvokhanasana. Stretch that arm. See what it feels like to have that openness through the whole side of your body. Melt the base of your skull. Relax your hands. Root your feet. We'll come all the way back up. Wide-legged stance, standing star, open your chest. And then heel toe your feet in and face the front of your mat again. Stand in Tadasana. Grounding yourself here, full breaths. We're gonna stand on our right leg, lift your left knee up for a moment, and we're just going to do some tips into Virabhadrasana 3, really slow and steady. You don't have to go all the way in. You don't have to bring your arms overhead, whatever's gonna help with your balance, and we're not staying permanently in a position, we're moving. So notice the instability that comes with balance. It's just a natural part of balancing postures. We're not getting stuck. We're not holding on to the banks of the river. We're just staying in the flow of movement and staying in the flow of your breath. Where's your stability coming from? Can you feel your core support you, your hamstrings, your outer hips, your glutes? Last time, bringing that leg back. And bringing your leg forward and place your foot down onto the ground and let the fatigue from your right leg settle in and relax. Find your breath. And we're going to ground into our left foot. Bring your right knee up so we're not sinking, we're not pushing our pelvis forward or sticking our hip out. We're enjoying that stability of our left leg. And just small movements. You can tip forward and stretch that leg behind you and then bring it back up again. You can go as deep or as shallow in this sequence as you'd like. Don't worry if you get wobbly, that's the whole point. Just let yourself flow with the breath. Try not to hold on. The breath is not something to grasp, it's something to move. If you get lost or wobbly or you trip up and your foot comes down, no problem. Just keep returning to the breath. One more time. If you notice your standing leg wobbling, just pay attention. Notice where some of that instability lives in you. And then take your feet on the mat, standing posture, standing mountain. Find your breath. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, floating down. Open up the backs of your legs, your glutes. Inhale for a halfway lift. Relaxing to melt again. Maybe take your non-dominant foot back. Step to a dog pose. And we'll come forward into a plank. Grounding yourself. When you're ready, find the ground. This variation will interlace our hands behind our back. Draw your shoulders down away from the ears and lift up to a locust pose. Keep your neck long, legs, arms lifting, chest lifting, breathing. All right, come down, put your hands underneath your head, pick up your feet and just rock them left and right. Let's flip over onto our back. Feet onto the ground, hip width apart. We're going to come into a full bridge and we're going to move our legs while we're there. Okay, so ground through the four corners of your feet. When you're ready, lift up your pelvis, rock to the tops of your shoulders, get into a nice comfortable position. Put your arms where you like them to be and lift your pelvis. Ground the four corners of your feet. Try not to have any one muscle group overpower. See if you can use your quads, your hamstrings, your inner thighs, your outer hips, your glutes, even your pelvic floor. Everything's working together This is that cooperation and sense of unity, of strength. It's not, we're not isolating. All right, come down and rest. We're going to repeat that with some leg movements, but first let's just windshield wiper our knees left and right. And ground yourself. When we lift ourselves up, find that comfortable position. Bring your left foot a little closer in toward the midline, and we're going to bring our right knee in and then lift our right leg straight up in the air. Find your breath. And then we'll put that foot down a little bit more center than it normally is. Lift your left leg. Press through your right foot. Open through your chest. And then lower your leg and pelvis down. Okay. Let's roll to our side. Well, let's actually just windshield wiper your knees for a moment. Just relax your legs. And roll to your side and we'll come onto our belly. Bring your left knee up high toward your armpit. Cross that right arm and twist. Roll open. Enjoy this posture. Relax your shoulders. Breathing deeply. All right, roll back again. Take your right knee up, turn and look at it, and we'll find a twist on this side. All right, then roll back over. And we'll come up to a seated posture. And we're going to come into Paschimottanasana. I like to be on the edge of a blanket for this. Maybe you do too. Okay, I'm going to keep the legs together and then we'll do Janu Shirshasana. So starting with Pashi, we'll bring our strap, and of course you can take, the double loop on the strap. If you're not familiar with this, you take the strap behind your feet and then take one loop across the top of each foot and then back around the bottom of the foot, so the straps come out the outside edge of your foot again. This keeps our inseam of our legs able to lengthen. All right, so when you come into this posture, think about the pelvic tilt forward. We're not rolling back on our sacrum, so we're lengthening the backs of our legs, lifting the spine. Don't worry so much about going down. It's really about up and forward. Ground your thighs, flex your toes, stretch through your feet. How's the breath? All right, we'll come on up and take our foot to the left foot to the inseam of your right leg. Janu Shirshasana. Take your hand next to you to find a little lift. You can even have your hand on a block, or you can have both hands on the strap. Try not to go too deep. Okay, see what it feels like to lengthen up and forward instead of forward and down. Stay grounded through your sit bones. How's your breath? All right, we're going to open the leg out to the side. Stretch open through that inner groin, the inner hamstring, and we'll stretch open through our side body. Root down through your pelvis. Keep that left sit bone rooting. Again, it's not how deep you go, it's not how far you go, it's how you go far. Feel the grounding and the reaching, the yield and the push and the reach. Every posture, you can feel it. Every posture, find your breath. And come back to center and let's switch sides. Take your left foot in the strap, right foot on your left inner thigh. Feel that sense of lifting and moving forward instead of forward and down. Power rising in this pose. Finding your breath. Using your core a bit to stabilize your low back. Relax the shoulders. Come all the way up and take that leg out to the side. Okay. So as we lengthen open here, we're stretching the different section of our hamstrings now. So feel those inner hamstrings and your inner thigh. Ground your legs, ground your whole pelvis. That left femur bone settles to the earth. The left sit bone is rooting. If you could, imagine someone's hand grounding you and pressing down through the top of your right thigh, right at your hip joint. Find the flow of your breath. All right, and we'll come all the way back up and release that. We'll come down onto our back. Put your feet flat on the ground and just experience neutral for a moment. Check in with your back. Breathing deeply. We're going to find our way for a reverse pigeon. Put your right foot on your left knee and find a hip stretch here. You can hold the back of your left thigh or the front of your shin. You can also put your foot on a wall or a piece of furniture so that your arms don't have to do anything. Try to keep your left hip in line with your, or left knee in line with your left hip instead of letting it cross to the middle. How's your breath? Let's relax. Put your feet on the ground and we'll switch sides. Left foot on right knee. Reach to grab your left shin, or I'm sorry, your right shin or your right hamstring. Relax your neck. Notice if you have a kind of a pull at your shoulders or your neck, have enough softness there to let your body relax. Relax. Put your feet down onto the ground again. Neutral pose. We'll lift our hips, send them over to the left. Knees come up and drop right. Now you can do this twist with your knees staying together and your knees bent. Or if you'd like to straighten the top leg to get a little bit more of a stretch through your IT band, your TFL, you can straighten the top leg, hang on to your leg anywhere, your big toe, your behind your knee, somewhere along your lower leg, and just open up that outer hip. And breathing deeply, melting. Coming on up. Shift your hips over to the right, knees come up, drop left. Perhaps you want to stay here with your knees bent. And this is a wonderful twist. Turn your head if it's comfy. Maybe you want to straighten that top leg and grab somewhere along the way. All right, let's come back to neutral. And as we move toward Shavasana, we have a little time for a restorative pose. So, you know, first just maybe take your knees to your chest or a happy baby pose. Just neutralize yourself and then decide if you want to just have an extra long Shavasana or if you'd rather take a restorative pose like a Supta Baddha Konasana for a few minutes or legs up the wall. There's so many choices. So take a restorative posture of your choice. I'm going to take a block and stick it underneath each outer leg with the soles of my feet together and my knees splaying out in Supta Baddha Konasana. But you could move over to a wall and stick your legs up the wall. You could have a block under your pelvis and put your legs up in the air just here without moving to a wall. Always choices. Those are probably the two I would recommend, but of course there's many other restorative poses. You can do an inversion, you can do a twist over a bolster, you can do a Supta Virasana, you can do a child's pose over a bolster. However you're choosing, give yourself some time to melt in your pose. Whenever you're ready to transition to Shavasana, you can do so. See what it feels like to relax your body fully. If there's anything else you need, go ahead and do it. When you feel ready, begin to take this last couple of minutes of your Shavasana to notice your breathing. Don't move, but bring yourself to a consciousness of your breath now that you're very relaxed. Notice the ebb, notice the flow. You imagine yourself in that river again where you've let go of the banks, you're trusting the flow. Begin to take some time to move your body, rolling through your fingers or your toes or your ankles or your wrists, taking some time to nourish whatever movement feels right. Eventually coming to your side. And using your arms to push yourself upright. Find your comfortable seat and bring your hands together at your heart, taking your time. And let's connect again with this beautiful unity, our interconnectedness. Let's start with the interconnectedness of our Yoga Kula, this little online tribe we have. Sending our support and our connection, our love to Christine. And then moving those waves of interconnection outward on the breath. Offering your sense of flow, the impermanence and the movement of your energy. Let's offer it outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.